68, he's a liar. Translator, Endless Fantasy Translation Editor, Endless Fantasy Translation. When everyone heard that Connor was rooming with someone else, they all revealed shocked expressions. Because they felt that if Connor was really a rich second generation, how could he have fallen to the point of sharing a room with someone else? Even if Connor didn't live in the villa, he should have a house of his own, right? But Connor had actually admitted that he lived in the rented house in front of so many people. This was really unbelievable. After Sierra heard Connor's words, she couldn't help but laugh and said to Connor with a playful expression, "One didn't expect you to live in a rented house, Connor. I thought you lived in the villa too." "Yeah. A rich heir. Living in a rental house now. It's really too funny," Sasha hurriedly shouted. Mina was worried that Connor would reveal the truth, so she quickly frowned and called out, "Connor, what nonsense are you talking about?" Connor looked at Mina indifferently, then said in a very casual tone, "I live in a rented house, but I also have a villa in Royal Villas." Ha ha ha. After Eve and the others heard Connor's words, not only did they not stop mocking Connor, but they even laughed even more heartily. In their eyes, Connor's words were clearly trying to justify his actions. Eve was just trying to show off that he was rich. That was why he said he wanted to buy a villa in Royal Villas. However, he knew very well that the villa in Royal Villas was not something that ordinary people could afford. Even if his family was very rich, it was impossible for them to spend hundreds of millions to buy a house in that place. The others laughed at Connor because he said that he lived in a rented house, yet he had a villa in Royal Villas. This was obviously impossible. If Connor really had a villa, then why didn't he live in the villa instead of renting a room with someone? This was obviously illogical. Update on B Omicron X0 VEL.C Omicron M. Villa. Yet you're saying you're renting a room with someone else. Yeah, I've never seen a rich heir like you who doesn't want to live in a good villa, and instead rents a room with someone else. What do you know? Maybe Connor probably just likes to keep a low profile. Look at the clothes he's wearing. You can't tell that he's a rich heir at all, but he says he's rich. What can you do? Sierra said with a sneer as she sized up Connor. When Mina heard the crowd mocking Connor, her expression immediately turned ugly. She felt that even if Connor was indeed bragging just now, these people shouldn't humiliate him like this, right? It's getting late. Let's go in and take a look. Mina took a deep breath and shouted at the crowd with a cold expression. Sierra and the others could feel that Mina was a little unhappy, so they stopped mocking Connor and walked towards the villa. Connor sighed helplessly and walked in. Although Connor was pretending to be Mina's boyfriend, what he'd said just now was the truth. Although he lived in the rented house, Connor also had his own villa outside, and it was not just the one. However, these people did not believe Connor's words, so he was not in the mood to explain to them. A moment later, Mina brought everyone to the front door of the villa she rented and took out the key to open the door. After entering the villa, Sierra and the others briefly scanned the interior of the villa. Although the villa looked very ordinary from the outside, the interior decoration style of the villa was unique. At the very least, Sierra and the others were very satisfied. Sierra sat on the sofa and whispered, "Mina, thank you. It's okay as long as you're satisfied." Mina replied indifferently. "The environment here is quite good. I'm going to decorate this place briefly later, and then 1'11" ask my friends to come over to my birthday party tomorrow," Sierra said with a smile. The main reason why she asked Mina to rent a house in Port Hampton was that some of Clara's friends were studying here. In the past, Sierra had always celebrated her birthday in her hometown. However, this time, she wanted to show off in front of her friends. Ding, ding, ding. At this moment, Mina's phone suddenly rang. Mina glanced at the name on her phone and said softly, "The landlord called me. I'm going to answer the call." After saying this, Mina turned around and left. "Sierra, how do you plan to decorate this villa?" Sasha walked to Clara's side and asked her softly. Sierra thought for a moment and said, "I haven't thought about how to decorate it yet, but we still have to buy some things. We can come back and think about how to decorate it. After all, a birthday party has to look like a birthday party." After Eve heard Sierra's words, he quickly said, "Sure, I'm more familiar with the situation in Port Hampton, and my chauffeur is still waiting outside. Tell me what you want to buy, and I'll take you there." "That's great." Sierra naturally would not reject Eve. After thinking for a moment, she said softly, "One think that although this villa's interior is not bad, but the lighting facilities seem to be quite ordinary. Why don't we go and get some colorful lights first? Leave the lighting to me. 1 foot 11 inches. Call my friends now and ask them to send some lanterns over." Eve replied casually. Then, he took out his phone and was about to make a call. However, just as Eve took out his phone, he saw a message. Eve quickly opened the message and realized that it was a photo. The person in the photo was Connor. "Mr. Lin, this kid is the poor loser from our school. I don't know if you met this Connor." Immediately after, a message was sent. When Eve saw the message, a sinister smile flashed across his face. He then turned around and walked towards Sierra. Now that he had this photo, it could prove that Connor was not a rich heir at all, but was rather a complete liar. "Sierra, I found the photo," Eve whispered to Sierra. When Sierra heard Eve's words, a hint of excitement flashed across her eyes. Chapter end. Report.